All right, guys, welcome back to episode number 22 of the Totally Worth It podcast. My name is Kendall.
And I'm Haley.
And we are 1 week late.
Yeah, sad.
Sad stuff. So if you are looking or trying to find the podcast this past week,
It's not there.
It's not there because we didn't do it. We had obviously you want to try and be as consistent as possible with something like this. But sometimes life happens and things happen and that come first before things like this. And you just got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
So what happened?
But it was my fault though.
I mean, it wasn't all the way your fault.
It was my fault.
I mean, most of it was. But what happened is that we have a pretty baseline setup here, and we have a MacBook Air, not a MacBook Pro, and the MacBook Pro has an actual USB port on it. The MacBook Air only has USB-C ports. If you're
annoying.
If you're a nerd, and so anyway, we have to have a piece. Oh wow, there's a fly in here. He's gonna plague this episode, but it's okay. He'll join us. Maybe we'll ask him some questions.
Flies.
I hate them too. But anyway, we have to have this piece that goes into our computer that you then plug your USB stuff into, which is our interface, which is what we use to record our microphones.
And basically what happened is I took the computer to work because I needed to print labels, and I brought the computer home and the charger, but I didn't bring this piece, and we didn't realize it till 11 o'clock the other night when we were supposed to record.
If not later than that.
And the real problem, though, is that we put it off. We should have recorded on Wednesday or Thursday, and we didn't, and then we pushed it to
We're like, oh, we got
Sunday.
time.
And it was like...
And then it got late. And we had a bunch of family stuff going on. Not like bad stuff, but just like things that we were doing. And we were like, okay, well, we got to finish this. So we'll get to it tomorrow. We'll do it the next day. And yada, yada. And finally we waited to the last minute and...
Didn't even have the part.
Didn't even have the piece that we needed
so
for
then
our
I
setup.
just let the record show. I offered to drive to work and get this piece.
She did, but we would have been just like an absolute... That would have been an irresponsible decision.
Yeah. It had been like 2 o'clock before we got done recording.
Yeah, it would have been a mess.
And then it has to be uploaded like
that next morning, and I was going to have to stay up like half the night editing it, and it just wasn't worth it.
So we just called it off.
We called it a technical difficulty and called it off for that week. And it did make me real sad. And yeah, so I apologize on behalf of us.
We just need 2 of those pieces.
Yeah.
Or 2 computers.
Yeah, well, at some point, 2 computers maybe. But anyway, I apologize for last week, but we are here. We're back. We're doing it. And yes, we're here. What are you doing? You watching the fly?
It is irking my nerves.
If I can get him close to me, I might kill this fly during the video.
No, I just want you shouldn't have left the door open.
Well, the way that you said that makes it sound like there's like a horde of flies in our hallway.
No, there's not, but like you have that light on, so it's like attracted.
It's okay. You just have to look away from him. Her eyes are just following this thing. It's okay. All right, what's you've got our list.
Okay. So, what have we been doing this past week?
Yeah. So one of the reasons that we've been super busy, and I mean not really because we only did 2 things, but leading up this past week, what day was that on that we had the tournament thing?
Sunday night. Well,
So,
and then we were supposed to record afterwards.
Yeah. So leading up to this past Sunday, we had like a church-wide, what would you call it?
Just like a
it was a
Sunday night.
A Sunday, they called
fellowship
it. Yeah,
thing.
summer fun Sunday. But anyway, up to it, there was 4 teams for the 4 like staff members of the church. Each one of them had a team, and they were like recruiting church members
for like the whole week.
And so there was like green team, blue team, pink team, red team. It ended up being green team was the losing team, blue team was the youth team, pink team was the pink team, and the red team was the old people. It just is what it is. Just is what it is. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Vince, because I talked about the green team being a losing team.
Yeah, I was like, you didn't categorize them.
It's okay, but they lost. You know, things got heated. But anyway, regardless, we went there.
Blue team won.
And I got a lot of
battle wounds.
No, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of enjoyment out of not picking a team up until the last minute.
Y'all acted like this was the NFL draft.
If you've seen the screenshots of the text messages that we have, I'm talking about them. You would have thought that we were in like the NFL draft as players, and I was we had people. We were talking the guys. We have a guys text message chat, and it was funny.
Yeah.
I was telling people that like. I'm not going to make my decision until the press conference right before the tournament.
So stupid.
I'm going to choose my. Only 2 teams have offered me full rides, but I'm still considering the others, and it just depends on what's going on. But anyway, they were handing out these like colored bandanas at church, and so I got handed a green one. We went throughout our Sunday morning routine. I got handed a blue one. I didn't get handed either of the other 2 colors, so that's on them. But I kind of hid the blue one in my Bible because now the green team, and Vince knows this. The green team, he was first on the mound for recruiting. He was out there. He told everyone that, hey, you're on my team. Period. Here's a bandana. Don't let go of it. And turns out he had like 85 people on his team. Not exactly, but it looked like it.
But you still lost.
It was a lot of people. They still lost, And so anyway, I was telling Haley, I was like, my friend Dakota, he was like, I think I'm just gonna like come out of left field and just like join the pink team or something, because I want it to be fair. And because at that point, the green and the blues were pretty much the ones that had been doing the most like recruiting.
Yeah.
Because basically they were recruiting the teams they were going to have a kickball and pickleball tournament like church wide that night. So anyway, I had the green bandana on me, but when we got there, I had the blue bandana in my left pocket and then the green bandana in my back pocket. And I still had not yet made my decision. And then when we got to church...
This is so dramatic.
I know. It is dramatic for me because it's important. I like competition. So anyway, we get to church, and Caleb, the youth pastor, he looked over at me from the pickleball courts and was like... Because I had a kind of a bluish T-shirt on. He was like, what team are you on? And I like grabbed the corner of the blue flag and just like ripped it out of my pocket and held it up in the air. And he was like, yeah. And it just made me feel like I was wanted, So I appreciate that, Caleb. And shout out to the blue team. We ended up winning. I had a few battle scars.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought you were doing, but you were not 17, and you do not need to be like diving in the home plate and rolling out in the field.
I had to go out there and show them what I was about.
Yeah, but
I'm about my
could barely
team.
walk the next day.
That's true, but we won. That's all that matters.
Okay.
I mean, it's not all that matters, but that's mostly what matters.
Okay.
But we went out there, and us and the green team, we kind of got into a couple little heated moments, but ultimately we prevailed, and the blue team won. So shout out to the blue team and the Antioch students. So anyway, there's been some church activities going on, and I'll let Haley tell you about the other church activity that we went to today.
So today we went, and I guess we were just like extra chaperones for the youth group, and we took them to Carowinds.
Yeah.
And like, I love Carowinds, or loved, past tense. Like, I think the last time I've been was my like senior year of high school or something. And I remember like riding everything and just like, you don't care.
Yeah.
Not magical as a teenager, but just like, you just don't care. You're just doing your own thing. Yeah. Like, nothing bothers you.
No sense of fear.
And today, every time I turned around, I was like, nope, not doing that. Nope, for sure not doing that. Oh my God, my kid's never doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it was too much.
And there's also...
And I just feel like, and me and Sarah were talking about this, but after you have a child,
Oh yeah, it's a wrap.
your
Forget about it.
body, no, I'm talking about like physically.
Yeah.
Our bodies are just different. Like now I can like spin around too fast and feel like I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
Or like move too quickly and feel like I'm going to pass out.
Another thing about that with our bodies changing after you have a kid, not even like in the physical meaning, but after you have a kid, like before you have a kid, you go to Carowinds. There's like little kids running around everywhere, and you're just like wanting to kick them out of the way. Like,
yeah.
But now when you have a kid, you go to Carowinds. Not only you as a chaperone, kind of responsible for the kids that have been like placed with you to watch them, but you're also looking around and you see like little kids standing out in the middle of the walkway with nobody around them, and you're like, oh my God, is that kid lost? Do I need to help them? Do I need to help them? And then you're just like focused on these kids that you don't even know that 5 years ago you would have like pushed out of the way, out of line,
for
and
sure.
now you want to rescue them from whatever they're getting kidnapped from.
Yeah.
And it's stressful.
So we didn't ride very many things. Kendall rode the Gold Rush.
Yeah, I rode the Gold Rush.
And then
by myself.
Yeah.
Well, not by myself, but with the kids that were with us. I look like a total creeper when I did that too.
But then
sat by myself too.
Then we decided to ride the Kitty Hawk, which is like the baby version of, I guess, the Night Hawk, maybe?
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. It's like that. Like, it's still a roller coaster, but you're not going upside down. You're just doing a bunch of twists.
Literally a kid's ride.
Yeah. So I was like, well, we should be able to handle that. Like, it's not going upside down. Like, we're not going to throw up or anything.
Like, it's
like,
pretty
it'll
short.
be okay. And so.
Low to the ground. You know.
Yeah. Nope.
Wrong-o.
Not the case at all.
Bunch of losers.
It's just like, I don't know if it was, and I feel like I don't remember it as like a kid and a teenager, but like when you're riding roller coasters, like your head is like beating to the sides of the thing. Yeah. And I was trying so hard to like keep my neck like stiff.
Yeah.
And it just immediately gave me the worst headache. And then when we just like did the, I don't know.
And I guess that the way that the thing, it's like you get up into it and sit in it, and then the thing comes over your torso, like when your head in between it. But like I guess because it's designed for a kid, that like it was not ready for the size of my torso.
Yeah.
Not saying that as in like a buff way, but as in like a way too old to be riding this ride kind of way. But like when he pulled it down and locked it in, I couldn't breathe. Legit could not breathe.
But it wasn't even that for me. I feel like you started panicking then because you were like, "We got to get this thing moving." I did not
like it at all.
But like we took off, went, did the whole thing, and then like we came back in. Immediately, I was like, "I've got to get off here." Like I feel so sick. Yeah. Like I felt like I was having a bad spell of vertigo and like I couldn't see straight. And when they were like, okay, you can undo it, and mine would not unclick, something just like happened inside of me. And I just went in like panic mode. I was like, Kendall, get this off of me right now. And you're like, it's not working. And I was like, you got to figure it out. Like, I got to get out of this thing. And then I said, get me out of here. I'm not riding anything. I'm done. I'm never riding rides again.
I was done after that. I'm glad I rode that before.
I know. And it's crazy because I wanted to ride, was it Afterburn?
Yeah, the old Top Gun.
Yeah, that was like my favorite ride as a teenager.
Me too.
And now I'm like, that was like the baby version of it.
Yeah.
And not a chance.
I'm out. Yeah, I was out. And then the kids that were with us, they like kind of wanted me to ride the one that you like lay down on.
Yeah. And that's the Nighthawk, I think.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
It just
it's just different when you grow up. Like the older you get, I don't think it's like a certain time that it happens, but like the older you get, it's like your level of fearlessness and your level of fear go like this.
Yeah.
You know? Like you just, everything, it makes you nervous.
Yeah.
Or you're a young kid and you're
fearless.
You're fearless. Nothing can hurt you.
Yeah.
And you could go dive off of the top of it. You know?
It was fun. Like
it was a blast.
Fun
We had a blast
with just being with those kids.
Yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed the
and
group.
I'll go back with them. I enjoyed. And I will take my wagon and I'll hold everybody's bags.
Yeah,
I am not riding another roller coaster for the rest of my life. Not doing it.
I really enjoyed the group of kids that we had.
Yeah,
they were cool. And also, we have on another topic related to that. We have our life schedule is weird, and it doesn't lend itself to being like super connected and involved at church.
Yeah.
But also kind of neither does the life of a teenager. So like it kind of meshes well in that area as far as like youth is concerned.
Yeah.
Because you never know what kids are going to be there. Their schedule and ours is pretty similar.
Yeah.
But that's like the area that we've been able to kind of like slowly start to get somewhat connected in.
Yeah.
As far as like even just being there and like, helping when we can.
Like we're not leaders, but like we can watch them.
We're not leaders, but we're like halfway down the line,
Yeah, like we can keep an eye on them for you. That's about as far as.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It was fun, though.
But we've been able to do that, and like just things like the kickball tournament. Like I'm not going to say I like got to know some of the students, but the more you do with them, the more you can connect with them, and it allowed me to have some conversations even out on the kickball field with like the guys who were like near me.
Yeah.
I was able to like talk to them, get their names and stuff, and like that. I mean, I don't remember much of them.
I'm the worst with names.
Yeah, me too. And then like today on the bus, I was able to talk to a couple of the students, just that were sitting like right behind us.
Yeah. Just
about random stuff. I think we talked about music and stuff for a little while. That was cool, just to engage in conversation with them and connect, just to have someone there, you know, to talk to, which is cool. But I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying like slowly dipping our feet into that.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to do something like that for a long time, as far as like being involved in church and in a way that like doesn't give false promises to our schedule and churches. And I think that Caleb, the youth pastor, me and him have talked about that, and it's pretty well understood and agreed upon with our schedule. The way it is, it just is what it is for now in this season.
Yeah. Maybe it'll change.
Yeah, I hope so. But it's been fun. It's fun. It's been fun. We've gotten to do some more stuff with them, and it's been a good time. I even got to talk to another one of the youth leaders today, who was driving the bus that I was with, Justin. We were talking about just like learning some things about each other that I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't know that I went to North Greenville or played music, and I didn't know that he could name every tree on the planet. And he was like, we were riding down the road. He was like, that's an Antarctic spruce pine oak right there, and it only grows 5 feet west of the South Line and Mason-Dixon. And I'm like, what in the world, dude?
He's very smart.
Very smart guy. And I can count to 8, That's what his degree taught him, all of that, and mine was just like, do re mi fa sol la do do, and that's about all I got to show for it.
Oh my gosh!
But anyway, we had a good time.
I would say, well, at least you can play the guitar, but like your grandpa taught you that. Your degree didn't really
teach me that at all. The degree taught me to stop doing that and like start reading music and stuff.
Yeah. But at least you know how to read music.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Nobody can really do that these days.
Yeah. So I actually think that me and him talked about like doing some different musical things like with the youth and stuff, and that was one of the things that I talked to one of the youth about, who like sings in the youth band and stuff, and like just being able to maybe one day get plugged in and involved in that somewhat.
That's your thing.
That's like my thing,
Yeah.
He was like, you why don't you sing on Sundays? And I was like, I do, in my seat. I would much rather be doing it like with the youth. Yeah.
That's cool.
But anyway, that was a good time. I enjoyed having that conversation.
Yeah.
And learning about trees from Justin. So thank you, Justin, for your tree knowledge.
Oh gosh. So let's talk like business.
Business. Get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
What about business?
I don't know.
Oh, I got you. I know what we're talking about. So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning business creation
Yeah.
But you're someone who has created a business. It's something that's been on our radar since you did that. And we've been pretty heavily involved. Well, you've been heavily involved. I've been like the shadow.
Yeah.
But that's a broad topic.
Yeah.
But like, I think it does justice for you to say that, and I'm sure you can attest to this from being someone who has started a business before, that there's always, like, there's nothing wrong with either category, but there's always people who want to like create and manage and do original things. And then there are people who like get their legit joy out of like becoming a part of something that already exists as far as business wise, like, you know, getting hired at a corporate company that you think is awesome and then like just straight killing it there, you know, and then wearing that patch.
There's a difference from the employer and the employee.
Yeah. Like a cop is not going to go and like start his own agency, you know?
Yeah.
But they get excited to go and work for that and do that.
Yeah.
So there's totally nothing wrong with either category, but it's interesting how people differ. And it's proven that it's way easier for you to go out and it would have been way easier for you to go out and just get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Versus doing what you did and creating your business.
I think, one of the things as far as people that start their own businesses.
Yeah.
Like there's like, it's not a big part of it, but there's a percentage that's just like, I don't want to work for anybody else, so I'm just going to work for myself.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, that's not exactly how I am. I can work for other people. I've done it.
Yeah.
But there's just something about you calling the shots and you making the decisions that there's just like about
like if I go to work for McDonald's is not like my baby.
Yeah.
You know?
But like, this is my child.
Yeah.
My second child.
A second child, yeah.
Literally.
And it's named after your first child.
Yeah. But I feel like people overthink it. And I'm not going to say it's not hard to start your own business, because it is.
It's totally hard.
It's not even
the right way.
Like I feel like hard is not the right word. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like hard to do. You just have to be willing to put in like time.
Yeah.
But it's not hard.
I mean, like I could go and get a banner made that says Kendall's shoe shining and go stand on the street somewhere and do it.
Yeah.
But actually creating a business and like all of the legal side of stuff.
Now that is super stressful,
like
because I did it all on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't go to an accountant or a lawyer and pay hundreds of dollars to like somebody do my LLC for me. I did it myself. Yeah. And nobody messaged me and asked me how I did it, because I don't remember any of it. I just remember crying, and I spent weeks.
Yeah, you did cry quite a bit.
Searching, double checking, because I was scared to death I was going to get in trouble.
She was like, guys,
but I was bound and determined that I was not paying to create a piece of paper that I knew I could figure it out and do it.
I can't tell you how many times she was like, I just know that like at the end of this first year, like someone from the government's like going to come find me and take me to prison. And I don't know why.
I was so scared.
And I don't know why.
Like the IRS and everything, the government, I don't like none of it.
But yeah, you have to register all your stuff with them.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
So like, I just feel like there's something to be said about, and I'm sure there's people who are listening to this who are creators, and then there are some people who are just like, I don't know what the other word.
Like I'll be your right hand man.
Yeah, either that or just like I'll carry your banner.
Yeah.
You know, like banner carriers and creators.
Yeah. And I will say the expression you have to have money to make money is true. But if you either save up from your current job or get lucky and like sell, like say you sell your car and make a profit off of it or whatever. If you
We're not saying sell your car, by the way.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just for an example.
But if you can save up $1,000 and start a business.
Yeah.
Like,
it may not start as grand and big as you want it to be.
But like I came out cheaper because I did handle all the legal stuff myself.
Yeah.
And then so I didn't pay for any of that except the like fee for
And
the
you had
IRS.
you had someone build your website for you that you didn't have to pay.
Yeah, I built like you built my website.
I know, I was waiting on you to say it.
So and if you just have, it pays to have connections, it pays to have friends, and it pays to have, it pays to know somebody that can do one of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like ever since you started from the very beginning, there has always been some, like, say you had 5 things you had to get done, and you only knew how to do 4 of them. It seems like along the way, there's always been like one person who like would either like message you, or you would message them, or just somebody you knew that had a business that was like, oh yeah, girl, that's easy. Like, I'll show you how to do it. You know, like there's always been people along the line to like,
and now I feel like I've become that person for other people.
Yeah.
Like I get messages a lot like, hey, how do you do this? Or how did you figure this out? What point of sale system do you use? Like, you know? Yeah. And like, I didn't know any of that. I was basically running off of your brains and your technology
which is not much, by the way.
You know more than most people. Like you created my whole website.
Yeah.
And helped me. Like, I told you exactly what I wanted and you made it happen. Yeah. And most people have to pay thousands of dollars to have a website made. That's true. So. That's true. But there's like, if you have connections, you can go a long way. And I'm not saying everything's going to be free, but you can get things done cheaper and save money. But you have to network and you have to know people. Yeah. And barter.
Yeah.
Barter.
You did a lot of that.
Yeah, I still do that. But like when me and Mom like decided we were going to do this, we both took $2,500 and said, "All right, let's do it." Yeah. So we went with $5,000 and started a business.
Yeah. And it's grown exponentially more than that.
Yeah. And it will be in business 2 years in August.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thanks.
Soft clap for the sound system.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people want to do that kind of thing, but like
it's daunting.
The initial dive off into that world is real. Mm-hmm. What's the word? Nerve-wracking for people.
Well, I think,
because I'm not gonna lie, it was nerve-wracking for me. Like, I supported you 100%, but like I wasn't sure. I mean, you're never sure, but like I was the second person, you know, like I was like your right-hand man, but your right-hand man was not 100% confident that this thing was going to work, because I don't know anything about the selling women's clothes. I still don't, but I believe you now.
Yeah. It's, I think another, I guess, aspect of that is don't set goals, but don't have super high expectations, because you don't know, and your first year might be nothing. Yeah. And then, but you don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now.
Like our podcast.
Yay. Yeah. But,
I'm kidding. Kind of.
And I do think, advertising is a good thing. Yeah. And, as much as I hate.
You have been really, really good with like social media and stuff.
I try to be, but I hate doing
it. You have been really good with it. I mean, that's brought a lot of y'all's business in.
Yeah, thanks. I hate it. But now my girl Micah is like really taking it to
shout out to her.
Level. But I think, and this is going to sound cliche, but word of mouth really is the best advertisement. And and it doesn't have to be, I'm not even talking about just like women's clothes. I mean, with anything, if you get, and they're a lot of work, but it is a fast way to make money. if you do vendor events and you're passing out cards, you're networking, you're talking to people, you're figuring out like, oh, I know you, or we know some of the same people, and it's just like it spreads.
Yeah.
And I really think that helped us a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing to think about. I mean, if there are people out there who are listening who like, I mean, we kind of make it sound like we own like a multi-million-dollar company. We don't.
No, it's still a baby.
But it is, it's still a baby, but it's a toddler now.
Yeah.
It's not an infant anymore. And that's because like, she took the time to put in the work and, spend nights up on the computer researching and getting her permits and all that stuff that she has to have and dedicating time to it that your boy did not have.
Yeah.
Because that,
And it really is daunting, but if you can get past the legalistic side of a business and find a good accountant, you'll be all right.
And find a way to have fun with it.
Yeah, because if you don't love what you're doing, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, and it's
you
never
shouldn't
gonna
even
last.
do it to begin with.
It's not going to last. If you're doing it just to like make a ton of money, which that's totally okay to start a business to make a ton of money, but predominantly those
you're not going to make a ton of money right then.
Yeah,
it's going to take a while.
And because you're not going to make it right then, a large portion of those type businesses end quickly.
Yeah. And I do think that we also could have not have taken $5,000 of our own money. We could have went and got a loan or a credit card and just like charged it up.
Yeah.
But then you're in debt and say after 6 months to a year, you don't want to do it anymore. Now you're still paying on this for the next 5 years. But I do take pride in knowing that like
you
we're
did
not
it without
in debt
anything.
to anybody.
Because we were not really in a position where we could have done that.
No.
And that was one thing that made me really nervous.
Yeah. But I mean, we just did it.
But hey, started from the bottom. Now we're like one step up from the bottom,
Yeah. We'll get here eventually.
Yeah, eventually. That's kind of what we were talking about on the way home from dinner tonight was, where do you see this? Where do you see our family and business and career and stuff, 5 years from now? And your answer was, no clue.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah, and I feel the same way, but it's just interesting to think about.
I know that we're not in, like, when it comes to just our life in general, I know that we're not in our forever home.
Yeah.
But I also can't imagine not being here in, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know where else we would be.
Yeah. There's only, like, a very select few reasons that we wouldn't be here if we...
Yeah. And then, my business, I expect it to be where it's at. Like, I don't have any intentions on moving it or whatever, as long as He Springs stays on the up and up, which feels like it is.
I do not foresee that changing.
Yeah.
It seems like an upward trend to me.
It is. And it helps because all of the people up in Valentine and Indian Land just keep pushing.
Yeah, they keep pushing down this way.
And that, people are moving to Kershaw left and right.
Yeah,
and if you come to Kershaw,
there are houses in this town that are listed for sale for like
ridiculous,
like $350,000 that look like just a regular old house,
like your starter home, $130,000.
Yeah, and
it's
that was
wild.
Just 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, but the way I see He Springs is, if you're going to Kershaw, you will go through He Springs.
Yeah, one way or the other, you're going.
There's no other way.
Yeah.
So.
Right off of the major, I would say major highway, but it is. Yeah, it is really. But yeah, there's some thoughts on business ownership and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship. I love talking about, I know you do as well. But just talking about like creating things. That was one thing for me with this podcast, that I wanted to create something and then like nurture it.
Yeah.
And like for it to be mine.
And this is
for it to be
definitely
mine.
your thing.
Yeah, for it to be mine. And I didn't really know how it was going to work, but it's turned out to be something that we both kind of enjoy doing.
We went 21 weeks.
Yeah.
It didn't miss an episode. I feel like we deserve an award, because there were so many times like tonight that I don't want to record.
Yeah. But then when you get doing it, when you like get into it, it's not bad.
Yeah. It's never bad. It's just like, I'm so
beforehand,
tired
you're
right
like,
now.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and especially like we just
That's
had
like
a
the
good dinner,
most-
and I just wanted to go home.
That's
That's
like
why I hate recording at night.
That's like the most depressing thing to me. I'll be like, hey, you know, we got to record tonight. And she'll be like,
I know, because sometimes I genuinely forget.
because I can see it in your eyes that like you don't want to say anything bad because you know it's going to hurt my feelings, but your face is, your facial expression has already done it.
I always wear any emotion is on my face.
That's a true story. There'll be some nights where, like most of the time, like you just be tired, but like I know you, and I feel like I do anyway. And I'll be like, you just won't be your normal self or something. It's maybe just because you're tired.
Yeah.
But to me, when you're not your normal self, because you're a very extroverted person, but when you are acting introverted, like over there on your phone, like not talking, like or whatever, or just laying in bed, like.
I know. Sometimes you be asking me, like, "Are you okay? Are you sure?"
If she lays down in the bed and she's like, "Good night, I love you," I'm like, "Oh God, what's wrong?"
Yeah.
You know, because normally we just like talk and whatever. But
the other night,
I was sure that something was wrong.
There was like, legit nothing wrong.
I bet I asked her like 16 times, "Are you sure you're okay?"
And then like I would be like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. Like I'm just tired." And then it would get quiet for a second, and I would be like almost asleep.
Pitch
and then
black
you would
dark.
start talking about something, and I was like, yeah. You're like, "Are you sure you're okay? You sure you're not mad about anything?"
And then in the pitch black, you hear me say, "Don't lie to me."
And I'm like, I'm not. I'm really not. I just want to go to bed.
That's hilarious.
But it's sweet though because it shows me that you care.
I
and
do
you care about how I'm feeling.
We do not go to bed with something wrong in this house.
No, we don't.
Because if you do, I won't let you go to sleep until we talk about it.
That's why I'm so daggone tired all the time. You won't let me go to sleep.
I won't let you go to sleep. Yeah. I've always been that way though. Like I can't go to bed like upset or if I know someone is upset with me or whatever, I can't.
See, I feel like I like ride the fence with it because 90% of the time, if I go to bed like irritated about something or like say it's something you did or whatever, like I'll just wake up the next morning and I'm just like, okay, it was stupid, like whatever. But on the off chance that it was like something that really pissed me off, if I go to bed mad, I'm going to wake up furious.
Yeah.
But like 90% of the time I wake up and I'm just like, yeah, it was whatever. And then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But we don't ever go to bed like that. So that there's no chance of that happening really. Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like you get worried.
I do. I worry.
If I just
and I think part of that is because of with my job, you're constantly dealing with negative things. So like as the man, you want to come home to absolutely nothing but positive.
Yeah.
And if something even gives the hint of negative, you're like, oh God, can't have that here. What's wrong? Got to fix it. Got to do away with it.
Yeah.
Or at least figure it out or talk about it.
And I think
But sometimes you just be like, it's time for a good argument. You know? I feel like because you don't live in that world as far as like what I was just describing, like it can be a positive day for you at the shop. You know, like there's never really like a positive day at my job. I mean, there is, but
people call you on their worst days.
Yeah. Yeah. You only see people on their worst day.
Yeah. I get that. So, and it's like very rare that you get the opportunity to make their day better.
Yeah.
Most of the time
like,
it ends
like
in
they
a
helping
bad ordeal.
helping a little old lady across the street, like stigma, like that, like
it doesn't happen.
It's like 0.05% of the time.
Yeah. Or like just like if something happens and like you say you like save a kid or something or you know,
like I have specific memories of like a few certain times that I have like walked away just like this is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
This is the greatest
But
thing
then
ever.
I also feel like after that high wears off, I feel like it has to hit you of like what actually just happened and how bad it was.
Yeah, or it hits you that like
how it
I know that I'm not going to experience that every day, and that brings you back down into depression.
Yeah.
But luckily, I've got a good support system around me with my family and you and Joe.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that went real south real quick. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I mean, it didn't really go south.
It got serious real quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which is fine.
Yeah, totally fine. Do you have any? I know we haven't done the episode in a little while, but do you have any little things after you finish that roar of a yawn? I have one.
Give me yours, and maybe I'll have one.
So if you haven't listened before, if you're new to this podcast, first of all, thank you for listening, and I'm sorry for all the coughing. But we do a little bit of a segment called The Little Things. And it's not often that people step back and look at their life and see little things that really bring them joy. And it's funny sometimes to think about them when you don't realize that there are little things in your life that bring you joy, that when you don't have them, you finally realize how important those little things are.
Yeah.
So one of the little things that I've noticed, and Haley will put both hands up and preach on this, is car headlights.
Oh my gosh.
What I mean by that is
ours are terrible.
Car headlights that actually shine bright.
Yeah. Like our lights, when they're on, you would think we have running lights on.
You know when you're a kid and you take like a real bright flashlight and put it over your hand, you can see like a red glow?
Yeah.
That's what our headlights are.
That's our headlights. And then when you put our high beams on, people, it's like, oh, this is normal lights.
Yeah. And then you ride by and people are like, hey, cut your high beams on, flash you. You know?
I'm like, but y'all don't understand, I can't see.
Like you legit can't see anything.
And then let's talk about how the other day, how you've been trying to like rig my headlight for like forever now.
Yeah.
And you've caused me to get it pulled over because of it. And the other day, I'm driving down the road on the phone with you, and it's like almost dark. So I'm like, I should probably cut my headlights on.
Nothing.
Neither one of them come on, and I'm like,
husband of the year, here.
I was like, Kendall, I don't think I have headlights on. And you're just like, well, cut them on. I'm like, yeah, like I'm flipping them.
You think I didn't do
They're
that?
not on. He's like, what do you mean? They were just on yesterday. And I'm like, they're not on. I don't know what to tell you. So I had to ride everywhere with my high beams on. And people were like flashing their lights at me and like just pissed. And I'm like, okay, y'all got to stop because our high beams ain't even that bright. They're like regular headlights. It's so annoying. And that is the one thing I miss about my Tahoe is we were up higher and we had bright lights and you could see.
Yeah, you could see good.
I miss my Tahoe.
I love the headlights in my Explorer.
Yeah.
But I figured them out, kind of. One of the headlights, the one that we've been dealing with forever, is actually not the headlight itself. It's like the connector cable, the cable for it. It's like melted. So I ended up having to kind of like rig it up and take that piece off and put a different piece on, and it's working right now. So I'm not going to jinx it, but the other light bulb actually just burned out. So that's what happened when you lost both of them. But we changed it, and then I kind of like rigged the other one up. So we're rolling hot down here.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I do have a little thing.
What is it?
Cribs.
Yes. You gotta explain that.
So Joe turns 3 next week, and she's been in her crib since like day 1, basically.
Yep.
But her crib, she's never been able to climb out of it. Everybody's like, oh, well, I had to put my kid in their toddler bed at like a year and a half, 2 years old. They were climbing out of the crib. She can't get out of this crib. Like this
crib is locked down. So.
Yeah, it's heavy, and it's just not one that you can climb out of. And but I mean, she's clearly gotten taller. So eventually we like lowered the mattress, and for a while it's just been like floor level.
Yeah.
But the crib is still over it, so she couldn't get out. And I was like, okay, well, she's about to turn 3, so she needs a big girl bed.
Yeah.
And so got her super hyped up, and last weekend we gave her big girl room makeover.
Took the crib out. I'm so glad that I don't have to unscrew those Allen wrench bolts.
Yeah.
In that thing
We've
again.
taken that crib apart like 5 million times.
It's awful.
But anyways, but she's done good with it.
Yeah.
But I have this like new fear and anxiety about her just being able to like get up and walk out of her room. And I mean, we have a
Yeah.
monitor in there, but what if she just goes in the kitchen and like grabs a knife and like, cuts herself?
Yeah.
Or what if she just walks out the back door?
And I mean, she's smart enough to like go find a chair, pull it up to a counter.
Yeah.
So like we really have.
So even if I like put the lock on the, say, the silverware drawer,
yeah,
she knows how to move a chair, stand in it, and like reach the block of knives.
yeah,
Like, she's way smarter than your average 3-year-old.
yeah. She's
And
smart.
I just got to thinking about it, and I said, I am not going to be able to sleep tonight. There's
Yeah.
no way.
And also, when she was in the crib, you could just like take her in there and sing to her, lay her down, say her prayers, lay her down, and she already knew what time it was.
Yeah, she
wouldn't
just laid straight
She
down.
wouldn't get back up because she already knew she couldn't get out of it.
Yeah. And I mean, she would lay there something and like talk to herself or something.
Yeah.
But she's always just been like, all right, I'm in the bed. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
But now she's wanting us to like lay with her until she's like almost asleep or falls asleep, which is fine. I mean, she's never been in a big bed. So the freedom of just being able to get up, I think, is strange to her.
Yeah.
And I think she'll get out of it. I mean, it hasn't even been a week yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it scared me. So I went to Walmart and I bought every lock they had.
Look, if
There's
there's any dads out there who have put in a bunch of child locks before, the ones that have like the stick and the little piece, you put it inside the cabinet and then you put the stick piece on the actual cabinet itself and it goes in there and like locks up underneath it. And then
You have to push down on it.
Yeah. Like opening it is not hard, but putting that little piece, the little piece on like the roof of the inside of the cabinet is so aggravating.
Yeah.
And I absolutely hate it because the screws are so tiny.
So though that box that came with all those screws, there was like a bunch of them in that box. They had the ones that were like command hooks that were just sticky.
You just
but
couldn't get those for me.
There was only one in each box, and it was double the price of the box with all the screws. So
I don't know. I might would have done it.
no. But we bought doorknob locks, cabinet
Boy,
locks.
that doorknob lock really sent her in a spin, didn't it?
She was like, "What is this?"
She's like, I can't get it.
Because she has really been getting on my nerves lately, especially if I'm like, all right, I got to pee.
I don't know why we didn't do that earlier.
I don't know. But if I say like, all right, I got to go pee.
Yeah.
And I'll go to the bathroom. Next thing you know, back door slams. She's
Yeah.
outside with the dog. I'm like,
Like you're not even 3. You can't do that.
luckily there's the fence, so
Yeah.
I mean they can't go very far. But it's the fact that she just walks.
And
right out the
luckily
back
we live in the
door.
middle of nowhere, so
Yeah.
it's not like you live on like a street corner or something.
Yeah, but it's
But
just.
still,
I think the little things in life is keeping your kid in a crib as long as possible.
and keeping your headlights burning on your car, burning bright.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's like I have so many friends that put their like kids in toddler beds at like a year and a half,
Yeah.
2 years old,
And I'm sure there are some benefits
which
to
is
that.
fine. Yeah, I mean they learn how to do it
Yeah.
earlier, which
Yeah.
I mean that's fine. But then it's just like there's been times or mornings where if she wakes up and I'm like in the shower, she's just gonna sit there and chill.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I know she's
Probably
in this
holler for a little
crib.
bit, but that's okay.
She cannot get out. She
Yeah.
cannot hurt herself. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just like a safety of knowing,
Yeah. Oh,
all right,
yeah.
she's in that crib, whether she's awake or asleep, I can get something done.
Yeah.
I'm not like trapping her in there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know,
But kind of.
but kind of. Because I remember her being, a year and a half old, and she'd be like yelling first thing in the morning, like, Mama, come
Yeah.
get me.
Yeah.
And
So annoying.
you
But
just,
now we really don't have to deal with that.
I know she don't even make a sound. She just wakes up and walks into my room and is
Yeah.
like, Mom, it's
But
time to
have
get
you
up.
noticed that like when she gets up and walks in there, she looks so happy?
Yeah. Because she woke up on her own time and got out of the bed
Yeah.
on her own.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're learning how
Yeah.
the big girl bed,
And we're having to kind of like lay with her. And
which I kind of love that.
yeah, it's cool.
But last night it was getting on my nerves. So I told her she was so close to falling asleep so many times. Every time I would move, she'd be like, "Are you leaving?" And finally I said, "I've got to go pee. You lay down. I'll come check on you later." And she was like, "Okay." And she went to sleep.
Yeah, and you went to pee.
Yeah, I did. I was literally about to explode. I was like, I cannot lay here any longer.
That's cool. So you ready to do our Bible fact?
Yeah, what's your Bible
Okay.
fact?
All right, I got it this week. Stand by. This one this week is more of a Bible question
Okay.
that I don't know the answer to, that I want to know the answer to. So recently our pastor, and we'll pray for Haley's yawning. Our pastor preached out of the book of Job. You remember? So the first chapter of the book of Job, if you don't know anything about it, Job is like the greatest dude, has everything you could ever ask for, like family, kids, cattle, everything that you could have wanted back then. He was a celebrity, basically. And then Satan comes to God, and God is like, hey, what do you think about my servant Job? And he's like, well, I mean, I would be happy too. And it's easy to serve the Lord. I mean, he's got everything that he could ever ask for. Why would he be a bad guy?
Yeah.
And God's like, okay, all right, well,
You can do whatever.
You
just
can do
don't
whatever.
kill
You
him.
can do whatever you want to him. We'll see who's right. And then yada yada. The story goes on. You can read it on in your own Bible, but Job, it has everything taken from him. Even his like physical. He gets like sickness and all kinds of bad stuff. But it's just like a story about someone's like devotion to God through all of their trials and pain and troubles, and like staying focused on God and staying strong in your faith. Anyway, but one of my the most in this sounds so bad, and I know we've talked about this before, but one of the most intense times for me reading the Bible is while the preacher is preaching.
I know.
And I know it sounds bad, but like it's just something about that, like because I can listen to two things at once.
I don't believe that.
I can. Proven fact, scientifically proven. But anyway, so he was preaching on Job, and I was listening, but I was also reading, and I read something in chapter 2 of Job. Chapter 1 is like about Job's greatness. And
you already said that.
Like some things about his kids and all the stuff that he had. And then chapter 2 is when Satan comes to God and tells him. So anyway, but this is the way that it says it in the King James Version. So chapter 2 of Job, it says, and there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth and from walking up and down it. Now, I get it. I get that, Satan came here. But what I want to know is about the beginning of this verse. It says, and there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. Who is this sons of God? Is it talking about like just like men in general?
I think so.
Or is this like some other thing? Because it said, and Satan came also with them. Because I don't know about you, but me, if that were a normal thing for me and the rest of the men on the street, for us to go present ourselves before the Lord once a week, it would be Satan shows up. But it just seems like it's like a
thing.
It just seems like it's a thing, the way that it's written, and it may not be that way. It confused me when I read it, and it's just kind of like it says again. There was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. It's just confusing to me.
Yeah, I think.
And I feel like there's probably a really simple explanation for it.
Probably. You need to look at it in my other Bible.
Yeah, your what you call it?
Study Bible.
Study Bible. I need to look it up. If there's anyone out there who's listening to this and you like blatantly already know the answer to this,
I mean, in my
tell me.
mind, I guess that would be like, because, we're called God's children, so we're his sons and daughters.
Yeah.
Like, I would think it would be.
Like, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of strange. And I guess like maybe that was.
Because if they're coming to present themselves, because, it talks about Job was like the most righteous man, whatever. So if they're like getting their lives right, whatever, because this is Old Testament.
This is like way, way old.
So,
probably one of the oldest
and,
books
you had to like make sacrifices and cleanse yourself and blah, 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 all these things. So in my mind, they're like getting ready. They're doing all these things to present themselves
like leaders
to God,
of the families.
like leaders of the tribes or something. Who knows? And then the devil, he's got to show up and present too, and he's got to
just imagine.
And in my mind, the devil's like, all right, I'm here, whatever. What do I got to do? Which one of these can I take?
Yeah,
that kind of deal.
But it's just weird because I just imagine, they're 4 or 5 guys from the neighborhood showing up to present themselves before God, and then Satan comes up and they're like, oh, this guy again,
Which one of us is he going to get this week?
Because we don't know. I mean,
we
don't know everything that happened in history. We just know what God allowed us to know in the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's other things that maybe occurred that he just felt like.
I hope that when we get to heaven,
he felt like it wasn't necessary for us to know about it.
I hope when we get to heaven, he just like puts everything in our brains. We just know it all. And then all these questions that we have, awesome. Everything just makes sense.
Yeah, I've got a few
questions. Can't
questions.
imagine the peace of mind when you know it all.
I've got a few questions.
I have a list.
Yeah.
It's like a real thing.
Mine's not very long, but I got a few questions. Maybe that'll be a good topic one day if you could ask some questions. What are some questions that you'd have?
That would literally be a whole episode of questions you would ask God.
Yeah, but anyway, if you're listening to this podcast and you know what he meant by, and there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. If you know who it's talking about, the sons of God, please let me know because I want to know.
I might ask my Uncle Joe.
Yeah, do that because I absolutely love the book of Job. I think it's probably like my second favorite.
What's your first?
Story?
The woman with the disease of blood.
The woman with the blood disease. That's for sure my favorite story.
Yeah.
But I think Job is probably my second because there's so many different things in the book of Job where, like, it's just keeps coming,
Yeah.
Like his friends, his wife, his kids, everything is just like
you think it's bad. Oh, it
gets
worse.
You think you got it bad. This dude got just demolished.
Yeah.
And then and I know this is not really part of my thing, and I was reading. It's so funny because you read some in the Bible sometimes, and you can clearly see, and it may not have been taken that way in the moment, but like reading about it past tense, you're like, ooh,
yeah,
like God got you, And whenever Job is like, he's not like cursing God, but he's like just like wallowing in himself. Why me? Why this? This and this.
And who wouldn't be at that point?
And he's like cursing the day he was born and like just being a brat, kind of, pretty much.
I mean, he has a right to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about everything he went through.
But then God answers him and he's like, excuse me, where were you when I created the earth?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you weren't there.
Yeah.
And it's such like a burn.
Oh God, that was so loud. that was too much.
You just want to read it and just. Ooh.
Yeah.
He got you, Job.
I think everybody always hates on Job's wife because, she was like, why don't you just curse God and die? And I empathize with her more than I be like, I can't believe she would say that, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. You'd for sure say
like,
that.
As a mom, your 10 children died in one day.
And everything you have.
Everything you have. All your servants are killed.
Because back then you didn't get to start no business.
Yeah. No, that's your life.
Yeah.
And like every animal that you've ever had is gone. You're watching your husband in agony. He has boils from his head to his feet.
Yeah.
He's laying in ashes. Like, I can't say that I wouldn't have said the same thing.
If the role was swapped, I'd say that, probably.
Yeah. Like, And I mean, she was
Like,
in a
just give it-
moment
just
of
give it up.
weakness. Like
Just-
everything around her was destroyed.
Yeah. I mean, how many
and-
moments of weakness do we have?
Exactly.
You could probably preach a sermon just off of his wife in that
Oh, for
in
sure.
that moment.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny. God's like, excuse me, where were you? I don't think you were there. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, if you know who the sons of God are that present themselves, let me know. And that is my Bible thing for the week.
Sounds good.
Again, sorry about last week, but we needed that more than I thought that we did. And we're back, and I appreciate you guys. And some good news, I've actually had some conversations with multiple people who in the near future are going to be coming on the podcast as guests.
Oh.
You know who they are. You know, no, it's not. You know who they are. I actually spoke to one of them today in person.
Okay.
She has blonde hair, works with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to happen really soon.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, lots of good things happening, and we appreciate you guys, and sorry again about last week. And that is all I have for episode 22.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah. Can
Wanna
we
go to-
please go to bed?
Can we please go to
I'm
bed?
so tired.
Yes, we can, dear. Thank you guys. We love you. We will see you next week in episode 23.
Yep.
Totally Worth the Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.